Okay, people, so The Silent Hour. This is the new film from Brad Anderson, written by Dan Hall. Oh my gosh. It is produced by Eric Paquette, executive produced by Shannon D. Ward, Blair Ward, Michael Ewing, Anders Erden, and Aaron Barnett. It is co-executive produced by Lauren Case, with line production from Joshua Kazar-Gasper and Alain Michael Hatting. Anton Sanko took care of the music. Daniel Arano is on cinematography. Matt Lyon is on editing duties. Casting, we have Edward Said, Daniela Gat-Ponnet, and Jameson Corradi. Lauren Krasko is production design. Pavel Tuzalov and John Banthorpe are art direction. Set decoration, we have Alejandro Reyes Andrew and Jasmine Azopardi Shellman. Right, Marcia Scott is costume design, hair, makeup, prosthetics. We have Kristen Wayne, Mirko van de Donk, Alexandra Rotondo, Angela Mancini, and Joe Escheler. All right, our cast. So Frank Shaw is played by Joel Kinnaman. We have got, actually, his daughter Sam is played by Katrina Lupi. We don't actually have his wife listed. Right, Frank's partner, police partner, Doug Slater, is played by Mark Strong. Right, then we've got Ava. Fremont, right? She is played by Sandra Mae Frank. But then we have got Mason Lynch, played by Mekhi Phifer. His right-hand man, Angel Flores, played by Michael Eklund. All right, we have the medic. She's played by Dejanda Kane. Who else do we have? Sal Moretti, played by Jonathan Koensgen. Farrell, played by Matthew Camilleri. Julia Simmons, played by Anthony Grant. Potter, played by Chris Dingli. Jimmy Dent, played by Marko Nikolic. The audiologist, played by Becky Camilleri. ASL instructor, played by Anselmo de Souza. He actually was the ASL instructor for Kinnaman and other members of the cast as well. Detective Ned, played by Sean James Sutton. Police officer, played by Shane Rowe. Homicide detective, played by Jamal Grant. That's probably our main lot. Right, the gist of the film. Right, a Boston police detective who suffers an on-the-job accident which leaves him newly deaf. 16 months later, he and his friend and partner must battle a team of corrupt cops attempting to eliminate a deaf murder witness in the apartment building where she lives. So, yeah, this was a really interesting film. Ain't gonna lie, right? I mean, man, we get sent through so many films, so many films. Some of those films, they're not the best, you know, but we do get these gems. So that is always great, right? Here's a little bit from the press notes. It all began with a script that caught my attention years ago, recalls producer Eric Paquette. That script was titled Submerged by the talented Dan Hall. Fast forward to June 2021, when out of the blue, Dan sent me another script on spec titled Silence. I was immediately captivated and knew I wanted to produce it. The journey of the Silent Hour had officially begun. Writer Dan Hall found inspiration for the Silent Hour after coming across an article about NYPD officer Dan Carone, who, as a result of an on-the-job accident, required the use of hearing aid. At the time, the NYPD's policy was that anyone needing hearing equipment to work could not be an officer, and he was terminated from the force. Dan Carone, who had been an officer for over 20 years, sued the department and won. Today, thanks to Carone's bravery, hearing aids are allowed for NYPD officers, recalls Hall. Carone's experience resonated with Hall, and he felt it was a solid jumping off point for a story featuring a hero deaf cop. With the story in place, the search for directors began. Enter Brad Anderson. Paquette remarks that he was a filmmaker he'd long admired, but hadn't yet found the right project to collaborate on. That changed when he read Silence and shared his enthusiasm for the material. Dan and Brad worked together to refine the script, leading us to rename it The Silent Hour, elevating our lead from a rookie cop to a seasoned detective. On the surface, The Silent Hour is about a detective with a hearing loss trapped in a semi-abandoned Boston apartment block with a deaf murder witness attempting to escape a team of killers. But the story delves a bit deeper. The core dynamic between the two lead characters, Frank and Ava, is what lies at the heart of this high-stakes caper. And yeah, I would say that is true, right? So we start off, we have got Frank and Doug, right? They're on a mission. They're pursuing a guy, and this is where Frank has his accident. So we see all of that go down. I mean, it is kind of crazy, right? That accident led to the deafness. But then, we jump in time. Yeah. So they say it's 16 months. I don't think we get an actual number in the film, but we assume, I think someone says, like, it's possibly a year, something like that, right? So he's hesitant because of the hearing aids and and all of that, right? Learning ASL and just all of this kind of thing. So, he gets brought in because of this deaf witness, which is all, it's not bad, right? There's definitely some believability in how this all goes down. Now, right, we do have the thing, right? Usually it's a mobile phone thing, right? Where, they didn't charge their phone, right? The phone's on 1%. Oh, and now they need a phone, right? That's usually the thing, which I don't always buy, right? Because I'm just like, people charge their phones or they've got a power bank with them. I mean, I always charge my phone, right? I never leave. As soon as I get home from the day, my phone's on charge. My phone's on charge overnight, right? So that means in the morning, I'm starting on 100, right? So, and I think I don't play games, but I'm assuming if you use your phone to play games, watch videos, you've definitely got a power bank on you, right? So, but in this one, we've got his hearing aids running out of power. That seems even more egregious, though, because, you know what I mean, with someone essentially newly in this situation, newly deaf, the anxiety around all of that, you imagine, is crazy high. So the fear of your hearing aids running out would probably be at the forefront of your motherfucking mind, right? So that's a little bit of a stretch for me, but that's the only thing, right? The rest of this was decent, man. Like, just the way it all flowed, the situation now they find themselves in, how they're trapped in this building, all of that you buy. You definitely buy. I will say, I kind of guessed a big plot point, right? And I imagine if you watched enough movies, you'll probably, you know what I mean, make the assumption. But it doesn't really detract, because I think, like, yeah, essentially as it started, I'm like, yeah, I bet this, right? So I was expecting it. So it didn't ruin the story. It didn't, degenerate it at all for me. I was just curious to see, right, what are they going to do? How are they going to work this? Right? Because when you think about all the things that you use your hearing for, right? The reliance just in those simple, everyday interactions, circumstances, navigating, where you are. So how would you do that if you don't have that? If that's not available to you? That's how this got really super interesting, So yeah, I enjoyed this. I really did. Like, I think we last saw Kinnaman in, Sympathy for the Devil, right? We looked at that last year. I think that Signature sent that one across as well, right? He's the driver of the car. Like, it wasn't a bad film. It wasn't a bad film, right? And then he's done all the TV, all the TV work and DC work and everything. So Kinnaman is definitely doing his thing, right? Solid, always solid. You know what I mean? Always solid. And he brings that here, Sandra Mae Frank as Ava is very good. I mean, we know Mekhi Phifer is always great. So is Mark Strong. You can always rely on them. Michael Eklund. Everyone gives us very good performances. Like, it's not, like Oscar contention. But if you're looking for something decent to watch, right, this is definitely something you can throw on and will keep you intrigued, right? I think if you liked films like 51 Pounds, right, there was that one. There was the one about the police officer with the dog. The dog was his partner. We looked at that one. I forget what that was called, but yeah, if you like, these kind of police dramas, like, I think there was Black Flies. Was it Black Files? I think it was Black Flies, right? You know what I mean? Those kind of films, if those, get you, right? If those kind of stories, ooh, get those juices running, man. You like that, right? And the notion of people trapped, backs up against the wall. It kind of plays a little bit like Dread. Remember Dread? That was an awesome, awesome film. Right? Comic book adaptation was, Judge Dredd was a comic book. 2000 AD, British outfit. Right? And it was, oh man, it definitely redeemed itself from that horrible Sylvester Stallone version with Sandra Bullock. But yeah, this kind of plays like that. I mean, obviously not quite the same level, but if you like those films, people, if you like those films, The Silent Hour will most definitely, well, it's moody, right? There's, the sound is definitely a character here. So you have that, right? You have the darkness of this derelict building. Yeah, it works. It works. So it's already out in the States, but it will be dropping on Prime UK and other VODs from the 27th of November. So mark it down, 27th of November, The Silent Hour.